Welcome back to the Legend of Heroes Trails to Azure, where we have just begun with the main conference of West Simurian Trade Conference. Down there in the conference hall are the politicians, and we are on patrol to ensure they stay safe. Wow, the view from this corridor is really something impressive. Staring into the distance makes you feel like you're floating on top of clouds. No, I gotta say a lot, I'm on duty here. Supposed to be on full alert right now, but this view is so distracting. An idle mind truly does wonder. The conference is finally here. I don't know about you, but I can feel the tension there. This is the room reserved for Prince Albert of Emefaria. From what I understand, the Grand Prince has an extensive knowledge of music. As it happens, I'm currently preparing Speaker McDowell's private collection for him to enjoy. Sweep, sweep, sweep. Oh, I'm dusting up a storm today. There's not a speck out of place on this potted plant, now that I'm done with it. Time to double check on any spots I missed. Prince Albert and Speaker McDowell seem to have a very strong rapport with one another. It makes sense when you think about it. Emefaria has been the primary sponsor of St. Ursula's Hospital for many years. Oh, you're those police officers who are here on patrol, aren't you? That's us, sorry if you're interrupting. Squee! Oh, you're Princess Claudia's little friend, Zeke, was it? Ah. This must be the guy from Kia told me about. Squee, squee! What's the little guy saying? Could you translate for us, Tio? He said, hello again, SSS, and nice to meet you, Tio. So he remembers us after all. Clever bird. Squee, squee! I always remember the faces of Princess Claudia's friends. Well, I'm honored to hear you say that, Zeke. Squee! Oh, are you all familiar with Mr. Zeke? Isn't he just the cutest, smartest little bird you've ever seen? I don't mean to make a fuss, but are these refreshments truly suitable for the president? I understand your concern, but the kitchen staff did their very best with them. I'm sure they'll be fine. Besides, they're patriotic in a way, don't you think? I suppose so, but surely there are better alternatives. Is there some kind of issue with the snacks they prepared? Those sweet buns have Mishy's face on them. I would recognize them anywhere. They're Mishy buns. I fail to see the problem here. Any other food stuff would be objectively inferior. Calm down, Tio. If nothing else, they'll give the president something to remember Crosswell by. Oh great. Now that you've brought up the issue, I can't stop worrying about it. But it's too late now. We don't have any time to prepare something else. Every one of these sweet buns has Mishy's face stencil on them. I can't help but think them a rather tacky choice to serve at so formal an event. There's nothing on the table, clearly. Graphics. Rooms on West Wing are reserved for the visiting dignitaries from Emefaria, Liberal, and Calvert. For their privacy, we've limited patrols on this floor to only what's necessary. That may sound flawed, but do understand that our guests are heads of state. We are obligated to provide them a certain amount of confidentiality. The dignitaries are also being accompanied by their own personal escorts during any recesses, so security shouldn't be an issue. You won't be able to move freely through this area during the intermission. If you'd like to inspect the room on this floor, I suggest you do so now. The dignitaries have personal rooms on this floor. The first on the right for the mayor and the speaker, after that is Prince Oliver's. The furthest room to the back has been reserved for Chancellor Osborne. They are unoccupied at present, save for the cleaning staff, so feel free to enter if you like. The mayor and speaker will be sharing this room during the intermission. They have their work cut out for them representing Crossbill today, so I'm gonna make this place as spick and span as I can. Dust. You got this, Mr. Mayor. You can do it, Speaker McDowell. This spot gives you an amazing view of Crossbell. Every time I try to clean my windows, I end up getting distracted gazing out at the city instead. La-di-da. This room will be set aside for Prince Oliver during today's intermission. His Highness is quite renowned among Imperial upper crust for his refined taste and unique pursuits. Knowing that makes me want to pull all of my energy into preparing this room to his liking. I heard Prince Oliver is especially fond of red roses, so I took the liberty of fetching some to decorate his room with. I hope he enjoys them. Man, get a load of that view. Ain't it something, SSS? Lecter? What are you doing here? Ah, come on you guys, I'm part of His Excellency the Chancellor's staff. Nothing unusual about me kicking back in here. Anyway, good to see you again, gang. We really gotta stop meeting like this. Even today of all days, you look like you don't have a care in the world. What he looks like is someone with something to hide. Hey, don't be like that, little lady. Only thing I'm hiding under all this charm is additional surplus charm. So those glares on your face tell me you guys have a boatload of questions you wanna ask? That's right. We've learned a thing or two in the past 24 hours. Specifically about the Imperial government's actions or lack thereof regarding the trade conference. Alright then, I'm not exactly sure what you have heard. So let me shoot you a question of my own. Did you know that I'm working with a noble faction to take Gilead Osborne's life? What? Oh? Consider the source, everyone. Don't listen to a word he says. I ain't falling for this one again, pal. Fool us once, shame on you. Dang, don't ruin a guy's fun like that. 2 out of 6 ain't bad, but I was hoping to string half of you along at least. I suppose we can just chuck that one up to a crude attempt at humor then. Listen, Lecter, because I need to make something clear. I don't care what your position or goal is. From where I'm standing, you're the type of person who knows how to take responsibility and get the job done. Owing to that, the most logical thing to do would be to cooperate with us, at least as far as security is concerned. Am I wrong? Ah, so that's your play. I was only fooling about the turncoat business just now, but you can't tell me it's totally impossible to picture, right? You gotta keep your eyes peeled at all times. Stay vigilant and see the signs. That's the key to a good writer finding inspiration, you know? I don't know any aspiring authors in this room, last I checked. I've seen broken rifles shoot straighter than this guy. Sorry, but that's all the advice I can give you at the moment. You should keep an open mind about how things might play out. Expect the unexpected and all that jazz. That's real helpful, thanks. Even now I can't get a read on what he's thinking. I feel like I understand him even less than I did before. Hey, I can see Amorica Village off in the distance. Man, just look at all those bees go carrying honey and buzzing all over the place. Get real, there's no way you can see that far. Hey. Good afternoon, everyone. If it isn't the special support section, I take it you've been securing the conference floors for everyone? That's right, we managed to eke out an assignment as part of the security. So this room is where they stashed all the big guns, is it? Metaphorically speaking, of course. I bet every last person in here is a ranking officer. Correct, by all accounts this room alone could prevent a major incident. Absolutely, not to mention Senior Captain Schwartz's swordsmanship. I've heard it's as fearsome as it's elegant. You're far too kind. It's nothing so extraordinary. That being said, no matter what happens, no one will lay so much as a finger on Her Highness. I swear it. Trust us to protect the conference room, they will trust you to keep watch over the other floors. Of course, thank you. As a member of the Royal Guard, I have a sworn duty to protect Princess Claudia by any means necessary. Rest assured that the security here is in good hands. Best of luck with the rest of your patrol. Hello, Toa. I've been a nervous wreck all day, but I can't let this opportunity go to waste, especially after all Prince Olbert's done for the Academy. Most importantly, I'm here as a representative of Force. Got to pull myself together and chip in. What's the girl in school uniform doing here? I did hear that a student was going to be accompanying the Imperial government to the conference. Supposedly they're hoping to gain some real-world experience being one of the best and brightest in their academy, so this must be her. Damn, and here I was thinking someone just couldn't find a babysitter. Somehow I get the feeling she and I would have a lot to talk about. She has to have skipped a grade or two, right? Well, you never know, that girl might just be around the same age as you and Lloyd. She seems like she's got a good head on her shoulders, so I guess she could be older than she looks. Would be nice to get to know her, but we're pressed for time today. Let's see, I still have to put together conference minutes, review the draft we're sending to the Imperial Times. Oh, and I need to respond to Radio Twister's media request too. Yeah, this is Toa from the Trails of Cold Steel series. And she, like, for example, Yuna in the Police Academy, were added in the remaster. Because it was said in Trails of Cold Steel that she was here, but in the original Trails of Azure, she wasn't. So they added her. Ah, you must be the special support section. Thank you for your service today. As you can see, there's nothing out of the ordinary to report here. If you have no particular business, I would ask that you not loiter in this room any longer than needed. Sure thing. Rather blunt, isn't he? Like a pistol whipped to the face. Any loud noises you make in this room will carry over next door and disrupt the conference. As such, we ask that you remain quiet as possible while we're here. It's good to see you again, Major Vandam. Have you noticed anything out of the ordinary yet? Ah, hello, SSS. It's hardly enough reason to let our guards down, but things have been calm thus far. Even the discourse of the conference itself has been civil. I'm admittedly impressed by how smoothly things are going. If the conference continues to go well, that will at least alleviate some of the stress on the prince's shoulders. Is everything okay, Major Vanda? You seem to have a lot on your mind. I suppose you could say that. In a sense, we've only come this far because of the seeds he chose to sow. But never mind that. What matters most right now is our duties at the conference. I have a role to play as the prince's escort. As I'm sure you all have your own, keeping the conference secure. Right. That much is for certain. The conference is finally underway. If terrorists really do attack, we can only guess what they'll be after. Regardless, we all have our assignments from the security command room, and you can be sure we're going to do them. The conference is currently in session. If you'd like to observe, you can do so from the gallery on the next floor. The first half of the conference is scheduled to conclude at 3 PM. Of course, that could change slightly depending on how things go inside. Today's trade conference is of great interest to those of us from the MF area. I'm hoping it leads to further economic development back home. You have a special support section, correct? I heard you assisted his lordship Prince Albert yesterday. Not at all. If anything, he was the one who helped us. That's right, his lordship's medical knowledge was tremendously useful. Is that so? To its credit, the Grand Prince is an excellent doctor in his own right. The details aside, I can say with confidence that his lordship was both extremely pleased and impressed by all of you. I'm glad to have the opportunity to meet the man and woman he spoke so highly of. Our pleasure, my man. We appreciate your kind words. Ah yes, I understand we have a potential terrorist situation on our hands today. That's always the case when it comes to international conferences. However, this time seems especially precarious. The last thing anyone wants for the dignitaries to be exposed to danger. To prevent that, we all have to do everything we can to keep this place secure. Ah, you must be that special support section I have on patrol duty. Thank you very much for your service. Let us know if there's anything we can do to make your job easier. The conference appears to be going well. Better than a typical Republican Parliament session anyway. The president has to be relieved he's not dealing with the opposing party today. Better than a Parliament session, eh? Something, right? Well, look who it is. How go your patrols, SSS? Kilika. The looks on your face tell me you have some intel about what could happen today. Might it have something to do with your invitation about the sale, perhaps? I beg your pardon? You should have expected you would already know. Jeez, how do your sources even get this stuff? Settle down, it isn't anything to fret over. I'm curious though, did you hear anything of note? It was only some friendly advice, nothing more. There's still plenty we have to figure out for ourselves. Is that right? Well, the same could be said of myself. What? I was merely thinking out loud. I can envision as many scenarios as I'd like, but that doesn't mean any of them will come to pass. With so many conflicting motives, there's still much we don't know. That's true of everyone working here today. Will today be the day the first domino falls? Or is that juncture yet to come? Who can really say at this point in time? I think I understand what you're getting at, but still. Either way, she's right on the mirror. The only thing I'll add is that my role today is nothing more than that of a presidential guardian and keeper. In that sense, you could almost consider us as colleagues. What say we put aside our allegiances and simply watch how today unfolds? Beyond that, I have no further comments to make for the moment. Fair enough. Thanks for the information. I'm sure you'd have much you'd like to discuss, but for now let's watch and see how things proceed. Given that we're both tasked with security today, our duties aren't all that different from each other. I saw Vice Commissioner Pierre muttering to himself earlier. I hope he's alright. I'm a little worried about him, to be honest. Ah, can't believe that woman would... No, I'm sure of it this time. Who's he mumbling about? Excuse us, Vice Commissioner Pierre? What? The special support section? Oh, joy. Well, can I help you? If I may ask, Vice Commissioner, what are you doing here? You can't just... Nothing except my job as Director of a Security Command Room. Since when? Come to think of it, I do recall seeing your name sprinkled around in some of our materials. I see, I never read those, hence my confusion. Yo, what? Here we go. We probably should have mentioned this to all of you sooner. Whoops. One question, if you're the head of security, why are you here instead of a command room? Taking a little break? But please, Dudley has full authority while we are here on site. With my permission, of course. So you see, there's no reason for me to be in the command room. Too many leaders spoil the group, as it were. Think of it however you like. As your superior, I know what is best for the operation. Now then, you six, just focus on not getting in Dudley's way. Yes, sir. By the way, Vice Commissioner, could I ask what woman you were referring to just now? I'm curious too, is it someone we should be wary about? Why would my wife be... I mean, mind your own business, I've got nothing to do with you. Now get back to work, go on. Yes, sir, understood. All of that was about this old lady? Perhaps the tight leash she has on him is beginning to chafe? Whatever the case, I think he'd appreciate us keeping quiet about this. Every single time. Even I can. I know I could. Oh, so this is where they put the lunch boxes. Finally I can give a bite to eat. Listen up. There's a press conference scheduled during the intermission. Make sure everything is in order on the double. Understood. We get right on it. Captain Grant, a pleasure to see you. Hey, Grant. How's working? Working hard? Good day, Sergeant Major Seeker. You as well, Sergeant Orlando. Though I suppose neither one of you is technically part of the CGF at the moment. That's true, but my leave is only temporary. You can address me by whatever you find easiest. I don't really care either way. Are you two the only representatives from the CGF on this floor? That we are. It's out of consideration for the dignitaries and members of the press, you might say. Part of the CGF's orders for this assignment is to stay out of sight and minimize exposure, hence the bare bones deployment. It sounds like the reasoning goes deeper than that. It does. Essentially, the decision is a way of tiptoeing among the two major powers. While the Guardian Force weaponry is restricted by state law, it still functions the same as any other state military. We stay within budget, but a great deal of our funding goes toward maintaining and improving the arms we are allowed to have. Those expenditures would be an easy point of contention if they were out in the open during the conference. Out of sight, out of mind, in other words. Diplomacy can be one fickle mistress. All true, but I try not to think about it too much. In the end, the both of us are only here for appearance's sake. Still, there's an entire company of guardsmen one story below, ready to mobilize the moment's notice. Should something happen, they'll be on this floor within seconds, rest assured. Good to know. We'll be counting on you if it comes to that. Not that I'm complaining, but this room is a bit over the top for just two people. I guess it just goes to show, when it comes to extravagance, Orchis Tower truly is in a league of its own. It's up to us to keep everyone safe today, Sergeant Major Seeker. Let's put our backs into it. You can entrust the security of this floor to me and Captain Grant. Roger that. All of us in the security division are contributing to keeping Orchis Tower safe during the trade conference. Our members are practically combat specialists who train constantly for emergency situations. Should the worst come to pass, I can assure you that we are just as capable as the Crossbell Guardian Force. We are accustomed to protecting government property and dignitaries alike. Whether it's the anniversary festival or this international conference, handling large-scale events is all just part of the job. Watching the building through this monitor, you can tell everybody on the security data is on extra high alert. Things would be a lot simpler if our fears about those terrorists turned out to be unfounded, wouldn't they? We still haven't caught wind of any terrorist activity, but it's too optimistic to hope they called off their plans in the face of our flawless security. Would that we could be so lucky. The infrastructure we set up in here allows us to consolidate and pass every bit of security data that flows in just like that. Plus, where the terminals here are limited, we still are able to access the database at CPD headquarters. Should the need arise, we have detailed info on any suspicious characters available at our fingertips. Mayor Croysling has full cooperation in having this infrastructure put into place. It utilizes all of Crossbell's technology and resources, so there's no excuse for us not to provide the best security in Zamuria. There you all are. Have you noticed anything amiss? No, not yet. The monitor over there gives you a security overview of the entire tower at once, right? Correct. We have access to every critical area of a building in real time. That includes the conference room, of course. Thankfully, this tower is equipped with the most advanced security system on the continent. Numerous locations are beginning to incorporate video surveillance, as I recall, from the IBC to Orbital stores. I've never seen such a large quantity of them in one place, however. How many there are is only half of it. The fact this technology even exists is amazing on its own. I wouldn't be surprised to see them used to surveil areas outside the city someday. The CGF's days might be numbered, Noel. I don't think it'll ever be that simple. How widespread they become is going to depend on the public's approval. Digressions aside, they're a more than welcome convenience for this assignment. Without any lead on the terrorists' plans, all we can do is nip things in the bud the moment they strike, whether right before or just after. That's why we have to keep our eyes sharp. We can't afford to overlook even the tiniest detail. If you come across anything suspicious, be sure to report it at once. Understood. We've been keeping in contact with our surrounding posts. Nothing out of the ordinary has been reported as of yet. Your 6 should continue patrolling your assigned floors. I'll leave you to it. This waiting room is for members of the press from each participating country. General policy forbids them from exiting while the conference is in session. They should all be accounted for in there. Feel free to enter if there's anything you need to confirm. Good to see you, SSS. Hey, if it isn't Lloyd and Company. Feels like we've been waiting forever for this trade conference to kick off, doesn't it? It's the main event of all main events. Crossbell's leadership and representatives from 4 nearby countries in a bonanza of international discourse. And of course, a big to-do with its demands a prime-time venue. Orchis Tower, the continent's first true skyscraper. Can you feel it? The nerves in there? I'm so tense that my heart's about to jump out of my chest. I definitely see the tension, but honestly, you don't look the least bit nervous to me. I suspect the nerves are coming less from her and more from her future prospective victims / interviewees. Well, Theo, you're back! And you brought the trademark snack along with you too? I'll admit, I'm not so anxious as I'm giddy, but enough about that. There's someone I want to introduce to you. Meet Noticia. Noticia, this is the special support section. Nice to meet you. I've seen you all in the papers before. You look like an even finer team in person. I'm Noticia, a reporter from the Libel News. Thanks for keeping us all safe for the day. Happy to be of service. I've heard of the Libel News Service. It's the largest publication in the kingdom. That's right. They've also been getting a lot of attention in the journalism world for another reason. 2 of their own reporters were awarded a Pulitzer Prize last year. The Pulitzer? Isn't that the prize that Nielsen person won a few years back? It's given to the continent's most outstanding journalist of the year, if I remember right. That's the one. Anyway, the latest recipients are a duo by the names of Niall Burns and Dorothy Hyatt. Niall's our ace reporter and Dorothy's a brilliant camerawoman. So the kingdom took home the crown last year, huh? 2 guesses as to what that prize-winning story was. Could it have been about the strange phenomenon that happened in Libel around that time? Right again. Though technically everything they covered leading up to the incident is factored into the decision too. I see. So they sound very impressive. Yeah, I guess so. But that doesn't mean we'll just lie down and let them outshine us. It's every reporter's dream to win the Pulitzer Prize at least once in their career. And if you want to win the next one, then you'd better get the best scoop you can each and every day, especially this one. You got that, Reigns? We can't let any of these newshounds get the jump on us. Yes, ma'am. If Grace gets any more fired up, the orbital sprinkler system might go off. Let's hope she can behave herself at least. So I take it Niall and Dorothy couldn't make it? That's right. They're on assignment in Calvert, so they wouldn't have gotten here in time. Things are a little touch and go over there right now. Yeah, I bet. It's got something to do with those radical nationalists we've got running around, right? Word is the Republican government is concerned about them making a move during the trade conference. Well, look at you. Guess that press pass of yours isn't just for show, is it? I thought the same, though there's no evidence of their involvement yet. So Grace managed to dig that info up too, huh? No sense worrying about how. We got our own job to take care of. By the way, Noticia, can I ask you to deliver a message from me the next time you run into Niall? Tell him Grace says, "Congrats on the Pulitzer. Once I win mine, we can post them together." Oh yeah, I do remember hearing that the 2 of you knew each other. Alright, I'll make sure to pass it along. Dorothy Hyatt is the Libel News Service's photojournalist extraordinaire. Her photos are both remarkably vivid and captivating beyond belief. As a photographer myself, I'd love the opportunity to speak with her someday. No, no. Just, no. Avoid that headache. I guess I could try going to the LNS head office next time I'm in Libel. It's a pretty short airship ride from Ruin to Granzel, after all. I'm Thompson from the Ardent Press. A pleasure to meet you. You're a photographer of the Tyrell Times, if I'm not mistaken. That's right, but I'm still only a rookie. You said Ardent Press, right? That would mean you're from Remiferia? We may be from different countries, but we're both competitors today. I'm looking forward to working with you. Likewise. Yes, hoping we all get the story we're looking for. I must admit, Orchis Tower is an absolutely remarkable building. Remiferia is of course too far away to spot it, but I believe you can pick it out quite clearly over from Altair. That's right, on clear days you can see it standing tall in the distance. As a matter of fact, it's actually given Altair's tourism industry a slight boost, almost as if it's a second-hand landmark. Already, Orchis Tower is impacting the economies of multiple countries at once. I have not too many positive remarks about the Crossbill police in the past. However, seeing how tight the building security is, I'm getting the exact opposite impression today. The only conclusion I can come to is the CPD's shortcomings are the result of their structure, not the people. The trade conference truly is extraordinary. I've never covered anything like this before. Conferences between any two of these countries aren't uncommon, but between Crossbill and its 4 neighboring nations? That's unheard of. Not to mention both Chancellor Osborne and President Rocksmith are attending in person, rather than sending surrogates. This is essentially the first time these two men have ever met face to face. Talk about history in the making. It's unprecedented to say the least. Reporters from every participating nation have gathered for the sake of covering this day, you and your Imperial Chronicle colleagues included. The same could be said about President Rocksmith. Seeing is believing when it comes to understanding what kind of leaders they are. In the President's case, he gives off a much more imposing, dignified impression than when I see him in pictures in the Tyrell Times. I must say though, Chancellor Osborne is even more intimidating in person. It truly puts his particular brand of leadership into perspective. A simple photo could never hope to capture that. So basically, he speaks first and he answers then, yeah? Okay. Alright, that's one patrol down. Nothing unusual to report at the moment. Yep, so far so good. We might as well make another loop around. Good plan. You know, I can't help but wonder if a conference is going smoothly. Me too. I know the mayor and speaker are doing their best, but that's a tough room they got in there. The Blood and Iron Chancellor and President Rocksmith present the greatest challenges. That they do. Want to ask someone how it's going during the intermission? The same day, 3:05 p.m. The trade conference finally reached its halfway point. Before the intermission officially began, the heads of state held a brief press conference for the media. Meanwhile, Lloyd and the others took the opportunity to speak with Mr. Grimwood, who'd started his break ahead of the others. Ah, that explains it. Things being as precarious as they are, the SSS was asked to assist with a security detail. Exactly. I'm not sure how much of a difference we really make in the grand scheme though. We may only be additional peace of mind. Don't sell yourself short, my friend. You're the team that frauded an assassination attempt on our previous mayor. It's reassuring to have you all here. That's kind of you to say. Yeah, thanks for a vote of confidence. How's the conference going, Mr. Grimwood? Things appear to be proceeding smoothly thus far. That's a fair assessment. Talks are slow but steady for now. The participating nations have already agreed to several trade deals. Mayor Croy's efforts are truly beginning to pay off for all of us. Thank goodness. That puts my mind at ease. Slow but steady for now, you say? Do you think things may get rocky in the second half? Oh? Is there something you're concerned about? I doubt I hold the jurisdiction to tell you this, but as an observer on the sidelines. But the focal point of the first part of the conference centered on proposals that affect such fields as trading and finance. The second half, on the other hand, will be reserved for proposals from each of the various heads of state. It is undoubtedly when the topics of Crossbell's defenses will be addressed. But if I do that, it'll only be a matter of time before foreign military presence enters the equation. But what about the non-aggression pact? It's only been 2 years since it was signed. The Queen of Livell did push a pact into being with Crossbell's best interests in mind. But technically, 2 of the nations participating today never signed that pact. Wematheria and, well, Crossbell itself. In light of that, it's only inevitable that a new continental security framework will be discussed. Likely so. My grandfather shares your concern and expectations both. Would drafting up a new pact and having Crossbell sign it this time not be the simplest solution? It has to be. I couldn't model the framework after the non-aggression pact and prohibit military forces between all nations. I get it. Crossbell isn't technically a nation. The Empire and the Republic only recognize Crossbell as an autonomous state. It is as you say, Crossbell lacks the sovereignty to enter an international treaty. Economic arrangements alone are not grounds for the state to enter into a formal pact as its own entity. That fine line we treat is precisely what puts the state of Crossbell in jeopardy. I'm sorta getting it, but this definitely isn't cut and dry. Excuse me, but I have something I would like to ask. Crossbell is not the only autonomous state on the continent. Le Mans, Orwet and Northumbria, for instance. Are those states also barred from entering into international treaties? No, they're not. It's true that each state has its own set of historical circumstances as to why they've remained states instead of forming nations. However, each has also been recognized by the major powers as independent with sovereignty of their own. So they have equal standing. Exactly, they're treated very differently than Crossbell. Primarily because their sovereignty is recognized by the holy city of Ateria. The holy city of Ateria as the high seat of a Septian church. Yes, as a city-state, Ateria's territory is small, but the church holds religious authority across the continent. Numerous autonomous states and free cities owe their establishment to the church's aid. Then you have Crossbell, whose autonomy was gifted to it by Erebonia and Calvert. That's how they're in the unique position of having 2 suzerain powers above us. And that has historically led to Crossbell being dragged into their conflicts time and time again. If Crossbell only had a modicum of sovereignty, we could work to improve the situation. But if consent from both countries is what it will take for that to become a reality, then there's basically no hope. I wish I could disagree. But that way, it does seem bleak. Getting back to the topic at hand, I would expect the Chancellor and President to have their ideas regarding Crossbell security. Naturally, each country's terms for their respective proposal will differ vastly. The Speaker and Mayor will have to be wary of what we stand to gain or lose. Apologies, my young friends. I'm sure you already have enough on your minds. Remember that Speaker McDowell is no stranger to matters such as these. And I get the sense Mayor Croix still has some cards to play himself. You think he has a plan? And what could it be? I don't know the particulars myself, nevertheless it could very well... Sorry, I should take this. Special support section, Lloyd Benning speaking. Bennings, the press conference is concluded. The dignitaries are now headed to the 36th floor. Where are you? Oh, we're still in the break room on the 34th. Was there something you needed us to do? Yes, actually. We were contacted by both Chancellor Osborne and President Rocksmith. They each requested to speak with the SSS during the intermission. Wait, what? Given who they are, I hope you understand we're in no position to turn them down. The SSS is to visit them during the intermission, and that's in order. The President is staying in the furthest room of the West Wing corridor, while the Chancellor is in the furthest of the East. Hold on a second, I get that we can't refuse, but why ask for us? That's a lot of pressure, Dudley. Don't be such a child, Bennings. It's an excellent opportunity to get some insight into what each side is after. You're right. Okay, we head there right away. Lean on McDowell if the goings gets rough. She's one on your team best suited to handling these situations. Report to me once you're finished. Understood. What was that about, Lloyd? You were getting real wild up there. What's going on, bud? Brace yourself. Lloyd explained to the others that both Chancellor Osborne and President Rocksmith had requested a private audience with them. Excuse me? You're joking. Not with the kind concern, he seems entirely serious. This is certainly a surprise. The Special Support Section's name is more well known than I thought. I don't know about that. I suspect it's because they're familiar with several members of that personnel. That's the only reason for their interest in us that I can think of. You might be onto something there. Regardless of the reason, there's no way we could possibly decline. Don't I know it? Let's head up to the 36th floor. Dudley said the rooms are on the furthest end of the east and west wings. We don't want to keep them waiting. Roger. Yes, sir! Receiving an audience with the heads of state of both major powers is something substantial, no matter the reason. I'm sure you're apprehensive, but an opportunity like this is worth taking advantage of. At very least, being able to seize both men up in person should be a valuable experience for you. I was thinking the same thing. We'll head over to see them now. Please excuse us, Mr. Grimwood. Alright, but I end this episode here and we go there next time. Until then, I'm Mace and don't get lost.